Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Tuesday Night Live podcast from the range with your host, John G. Johnson. How we doing, guys? John, the firearms instructor at the range. We're doing live at the range, and hope you're doing wonderful this evening. It has been a good day. It is 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Range is not busy right now. We got nobody in there. We may have somebody coming in the future just to shoot. Just be aware of that. Well, if you don't know who I am, my name is John Johnson. I'm the owner and operator of a firearms training facility in beautiful Cape Coral, Florida, and I specialize in you. We specialize in the first-time shooter. We specialize in students that want to become better shooters, and we're here to help you as much as possible. Tonight, we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be, well, it's not really different. It's always the same. It's something that has to do with shooting. But there is a little bit caveat to this tonight because most people go to the range and spend too much time at the range and don't get anything out of it. So we are going to talk about training with just 50 rounds. Is there ability to shoot a pistol and get everything you need out of 50 rounds and get a good learning curve? Now, we talk all the time about low round counts. A low round count drill is important because it works on the ability of shooting a pistol and getting something out of it without spending a ton of time and wasting money. Majority of the people go to the range and they spend a heck of a lot of time on ammo and they're loading a bunch of rounds in a magazine. And at the end, are they actually getting something out of it? Or are they wasting a lot of ammo? And most of the time, it's about wasting ammo than anything else. So let's go over a little commercial real quick. We have our ebooks. Our ebooks are available in the link down below, or they're on our website. Those books are set for $2.99, but I want to give you one free. So if you pick one of the books in the descriptions down below and put in free book at checkout, you get one for free. What are they about? They're about grip, and they're about stance, and they're about trigger control, and they're about sight picture, and they're about sight alignment. Pick one of the ones you think you need work on, like why do I shoot low and left is a good one, very popular for people. Pick that up, put that in the cart, put free book at checkout, and it's yours for free. Now, those books are on sale for $2.99, the regular $3.99. But if you want to add a few more to your cart, it would not hurt my feelings one bit, and you would be helping out a family-owned business, just like mine. And you would be supporting the company itself. And those ebooks are about grip and stance and trigger, things you need to know already. And it gives you little tips and tricks that will help you tremendously. Intro into tonight's live. Train with 50 rounds. And you know who I am. Ammo prices are up. There's no question about that. And it's expensive to shoot. So people aren't spending the time they need. Range time, by the time you buy ammo, do the range time, it can be somewhat expensive. But let's be real here. Most people waste rounds at the range. They don't really got a plan when they go to the range. They're just in shooting, and they're trying to figure it out. Do you really think you're just going to be able to figure it out, or do you need some support and help? And that's what all of our channel is about. To educate, motivate, and entertain. And if we're not doing that, how can it help you? But I know we are. Let me get my light real quick. I forgot to put it on. Let's put this over here. Hit this here. Boom. A little bit more light. Gives me a little bit of picture there. All right. So I'm going to show you how to take 50 rounds and turn them into a complete training session. This is something that you can do with any drill that we give you, but I would give you a drill tonight that we modified a little bit to help you use the same target for multiple different things. And you're going to get 3 simple plans and tips and how to track your progress to get you better. The target is going to be downloadable from our link on YouTube, so you can go ahead and pick it up. Or if you want to just comment target, I'll send you the link. So if you're tired of throwing rounds downrange with no results, grab your notebook, settle in, and let's stretch those 50 rounds like a pro. Let me know in the chat how many rounds you normally shoot at the range and what is your average round count when you're doing a drill at the range. Are you filling your magazine completely up? Are you doing 5 rounds at a time? It would help tremendously get the concept of who we have on the channel. By the way, we have multiple people on here this evening, and it looks like we just surpassed 13, which is awesome. Make sure you put your name directly on the comment section so I know who's here. I want to get your name if you can. I would love to get your comment, and I would love to know where you're from, where you're based out of. So I'm going to give you 10 topics that will help you build a better session with limited ammo. And then I'm going to give you a drill and a whole target scheme that I want you to work on. So here are the problems and solutions that I see students are making at the range. And I think if we kind of hone in on these, then it will identify a little bit more of what we need to focus on. Because when we start identifying what we need to focus on, Bob Owens, thank you, Bob Owens, for being here. I appreciate you, buddy. So here we go. Most shooters waste ammo at the range. The solution is to structure a plan. Whether you're going to do your range or your plans or pick something up out of the YouTube channel here, I have a full PowerPoint. I have a full YouTube playlist on drills you need to know. And that would be a great thing to check out before you even go to the range, and then see in the list of the drills you need to know, most of those drills have a downloadable target that goes with it. The solution is to structure a plan. Divide your rounds into phases, like warm-up, like the core drill, the challenge, and the test. And this is nice. And don't forget about dry firing when you build a system. So if we started with warm-up could be dry fire. It could be working on a better trigger engagement. It could be making sure you got a good grip. And then when the core drill starts up, that's when we start running the pistol properly. That's when we start working on the true fundamentals. Hello. How you doing? Thank you, Gene. Glad you're here, sweetheart. I really am. Thank you for that kind comment you made on email today, too. I appreciate you very much. You girls are the best. Warm up, core drill, and challenge, and the test. Challenge and the test is what you make it. Now, you don't have to use one of our targets. You can go take a paper plate, fold the paper plate in half, and then fold the paper in half and make you 4 quadrants there. Get you a black magic marker, mark the black magic marker, and just work on some kind of focus drill. That'll be best for us. Now, how do we use 5 rounds at a time? The easiest thing is to stick to a 5-round magazine, 5-round magazine load. That's the key thing. Yes, the magazines take more than that, but if you kind of position yourself properly, you will understand that the first round in that magazine is the most important, and anything after 6 rounds, you're along for the ride until the weapon is empty. Trying to control a firearm through multiple rounds becomes challenging for everybody because it becomes something of we're going to lose our control somewhere. Number two, I see most people do is there's no clear training goal, no progress. The solution to this is go to the range with one goal in mind. Let's say, for instance, we need to start working on our trigger. We need to make sure we're given a good, consistent trigger press each time. Well, idea, that would be a great thing. Trigger control. You could work on grip. You could work on stance. You could work on both eyes open, one eye closed. You could focus on a lot of different stuff, but it's very hard to position yourself to do everything perfectly and not lose something in the middle of. That's why it's so important. Focus on one thing at a time. And if you could focus on a good solid grip or focus on a good trigger control and focus on sight alignment and sight picture, your world will be a total different place because then you'll start identifying what works best for you. So when you go to range with one goal in mind, it's very easy to meet that goal. I talked to you guys a while back about range time should not be simple. Range time should challenge us each time. And if we're doing something uh, methodically, right, and you're getting something out of it, but if you're just running it to run it, what are you getting out of that? You're just wasting time, if that makes sense. And that's what normally happens when people are shooting 300, 400, 500 rounds at the range. They're not really getting anything out of that besides the range guy making his money on the ammo. And then the rest of the world, it's just, empty magazines. I get the brass after they get done, but beyond that, I mean, you can watch a student proceed through. Once they get past 100 rounds, their accuracy really goes away because we all get fatigued at the range. People don't act like they get fatigued, but they do. They get, it's just hard to be consistent and get that great trigger press all the way through. That's why the master class, and that's why the handgun training system and all the things we have available for you guys makes a big difference because we're giving you the system. We're giving you the solution. We're giving you the drill. We're giving you the ability to focus on the proper stuff to make you more accurate. When you have students that are exceeding what they've done the week before and they're getting better and better, it's no better feeling, to be honest with you. And then they start understanding what's causing that problem and they solve it. Number 3 problem is shooter rush through warm up. They don't really take their time warming up. You need to control the weapon like you do anything else. We talk about dry firing, and I watched a student a week or two ago, and he went back and he did 10 dry fires before he shot his target. I was proud of him because that's something we were discussing, but he did the dry firing so sloppily that he got nothing out of it. So I went over to him. I said, "Now, what did you get out of the dry fire?" Because I just do it because you tell me to do it. I don't really get anything out of it. I don't think I do. I mean, his gun wasn't dipping or doing anything crazy. But I said, well, you didn't look like you were driving with your chest muscles. He goes, no, I wasn't. I wasn't. It didn't look like you had a good solid grip on that gun. No, I did. I didn't. Why? I don't need to, because when I dry fire, I'm not going to have the recoil management I would have if I were to really live fire. And I said, that's not the point, buddy. You need to practice the way you're going to shoot. And this is a big aha moment for people. We do not train sloppily. We train the same way we would when we'd be here with a pistol in our hand. And that is the most important thing we need to do. So in this first 10-round warm-up with a slow fire, maybe if you're at home and you are a different range, you could draw and fire. You want to grip and sight, and we want to produce that picture. We want to see that sight line. We want to see the sight picture. We talk about low and ready an awful lot, and low and ready is when you pick the gun from the table to the target and you're presenting it. And if you present that target from your chest and push it out when you from your chest and push it out, you're going to be over your dominant eye to begin with, and it makes so much difference. I see so many people lift their hands to put the gun out in front of them like they're fishing with a fishing rod. The way we present the firearm needs to be the same each time. It helps us out tremendously, and it gives us that consistency or that muscle memory we need to be as consistent as possible. And in the long term, it's going to give us the ability to understand how to run the pistol properly. And voila, I'm accurate with a gun now. And that makes a big, big difference. All right, number 4 is only shooting bullseyes. You're not running skills and you're not running solutions. Train with a skilled base drill, like the 3-2-1 drill or the diamond drill I've given you guys. These drills are skilled based, and that's exactly what I do. When I put every week somewhere on YouTube, you're going to find a video of me doing a drill of the week, which we use in the master handgun, or we use it in the handgun training system. And that drill has a PowerPoint presentation. That drill has some kind of skill thing or multiple skills in one drill. And I think that's kind of important because we always have grip, we always have stance, we always have trigger control. Those are almost in every drill we do, right? We may have some transitioning we need to do, right or left, up or down. That's another thing we can work on. We can sight picture, sight alignment. If you're a one-eye shooter, right, working on shooting with both eyes open will help us out tremendously. If you shoot the pistol with two hands and you haven't practiced shooting with one hand, that's something we need to practice. How about shooting with your non-dominant hand? Shooting with your hand you're not really engaged on using on a regular basis. When I ask a left-handed shooter to shoot right-handed, it's not as difficult. But when I ask a right-handed shooter to shoot left, hello, Kurt, how you doing, buddy? Good evening. And if I ask a right-handed shooter to shoot something left, it becomes more challenging for them. Thank you, Kurt, for being here. Appreciate you, buddy. So there are plenty of drills on our YouTube channel. All you got to do is pick one you like and take it to the range and work on it. You know, don't get too carried away. Get there, get it done, and get out. I believe if you spend more than 45 minutes to an hour at the range, you most likely are shooting too much. And I know it's expensive, and I know it causes a lot of, you got that math going on, right? I just paid the guy $25. I want to make sure I get my $25 worth, but staying 2 hours to shoot 300 rounds, you're losing money on yourself, because I can guarantee you out of 300 rounds, probably 100 of them were good, and the rest are going all. And every one of those are bad habits, if that makes sense. So Chris Haas said, I typically shoot 70 to 80 between two to three firearms and calibers. Sometimes 130, but between the four firearms, that makes sense. 8 calibers. That makes sense. He takes his time. Chris is never here a long period of time, but when he does, he's back there working on a foundation or drill of some kind. Chris is one of our regulars here. I appreciate you saying that, Chris. Thank you very much, buddy. All right. But coming up with some kind of deal would help you out tremendously. So, yeah. I'll make sure I got that one. I'll skip it. That. Okay, good. Number 5 is problem is no tracking or improvement solution. This is a common things that students do, is they're doing the same exact thing they did the week before, then the week before that, and the week before that, and they're looking for improvement. And that improvement comes very slowly if you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. We need to adjust of what we're doing. Similar to, do I have a proper grip? Do I have the gun over my dominant eye? Do I have my finger too far in the gun? Am I not holding the pistol properly? Am I dipping my head to shoot the pistol versus keep my head up in my line of sight? There's so many things you can do. But if you were to do some tracking, maybe take a picture of your target, take it home with you, and identify some of the little issues. One of the best things you can do as shooters is to grab a tripod. If they'll allow you, you got to check some of the ranges don't allow it. But if you'll grab a tripod and you grab your phone and you put it behind you, right above your shoulder, just like this, maybe a little bit back so you can see a little bit of your hands and stuff, and start filming yourself at the range, you will start amazingly seeing a lot of little things you're doing that you don't even know you're doing. Like, I videotape students all the time with their permission, obviously. And I kind of just videotape their hands, or I videotape their stance, or I videotape to watch them dip that gun when they're pulling the trigger. They're not keeping their wrist stiff, and when they engage the trigger, they're letting their wrist bend, and that's causing those shots to shoot low. When you start seeing that stuff from afar, because it's you, and it's on your camera, and then you started seeing that, then you can start working on, I maybe need to put a little more pressure on this pistol to keep it level. Because we all know a level pistol shoots level, but we can't have a pistol at an angle and expect it to shoot straight. Weapon at an angle is only going to shoot at an angle. And we need to work on that as much as possible. Remember, we don't use our wrist to aim the pistol. We use our waist to aim the pistol. And the more we use our waist to aim the pistol, the easier we can keep the gun level. All right. That was a good one. So bring a range book with you. I have this thing on my phone. It is called Notes. And the notes themselves, it's on my iPhone. It's right here. And I write all kinds of stuff. I mean, you can't even see it. I do all kinds of notes and drills and skills and things. And I use this all the time. And then I can even add photos to it because I use it for some of my video content or some of my video idea content and all the stuff like that. So it makes so much better for me because I can go back and rehearse it or look at it or see it. And the cool thing is with the iPhones now, they dictate. So all you can do is push the button, the microphone, and write down what you shot, how many rounds you shot, what you thought about it, how did it work. It makes so much easier for you. Now you're starting to log what drills you did, where's your struggles, where's your improvement, and we want more improvement than we want struggles. So that's a good way to really put some identification on what we're doing each week to be better and what we're doing to be worse. And then if we can cut that worse stuff out. Cool. How'd it go, Kurt? He said, last week I went to the range using the different techniques you recommended. Thank you, Kurt. I appreciate that. Now you got to tell me how you did. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. That's the whole idea of this, giving you advice for you to get out there and get it done. That's why we do all the things we do to make my students better, and become better shooters. Okay. Number 6 is ammo gets wasted on random mag dumps. Now we all been to the range. We all done the mag dump once in a while. It is fun, but there is no control in it, and we learn less than we need when we do something like that. Trust me, I'm in a gun range. I try to not allow mag dumps too much because I think they're dangerous, and I think people can't control the weapon. And by the time you see one, I watched one on YouTube. The guy took a 33 round stick. He was in a range, and he shot all 33 rounds. They pulled the target in, and there was not one in the paper. Not one of his buddies ribbed the hell out of him, but they were all over the place. They were high, they were low, they were up, they were down. That you're not getting anything on that. And that's if you really think about it, we need to be in control of the weapon at all times. Nice. He started a journal. Oh, there we go. Kurt said he got complimented on my performance, and he also started his journal. Very good, Kurt. Thank you very much for making that comment, buddy. I'm proud of you, pal. Keep it up, buddy. Keep it up. Just gonna get better from here, kid. I call everyone kid, so don't think I'm being insulting to you. All right. Solution. Sign each round a purpose. Now, this is what the night's about. We're going to do this. You want to get into, raise your hand, everybody. Make me a promise. I promise. State your name. I promise I will, at the range, stick to a 5-round count or less in your magazine. Because when you start getting into the point of putting more rounds in the magazine, now think about this. When we put 5 rounds in the magazine, how long does that take us? Not very long, right? But we can extend our time, kind of look at the target while we're loading our magazines, identify any kind of oddness that's happening, right? Maybe you don't have your chin turned directly over the pistol. Maybe you creep your thumb in or your finger in a little bit and cause it, and identify what's going on. And that's going to help you. Thank you, Gene. Thank you, Gene. Appreciate you, honey. Gene made the promise tonight. All right. I'm not saying don't load your mags up at the house. Load the mags. Load them all the way up. You need as many rounds as you can in a high defense situation. I'm saying when we're trying to train, we want to not load the mags up. We want to keep them to 5 rounds. It helps us tremendously. And what tends to happen with students is we begin to conquer each round. We make each round count. It becomes a better solution for us, and we become stewards of the ammo. We're going to issue you this ammo, and you're going to have to make every round count. And if we can keep our round counts down, we can keep our accuracy up. Because at that point in time, once we start getting control of the weapon, we start beginning to get confidence with the weapon. With confidence comes accuracy, I guarantee. And that's the key thing that happens for most students. So assigning a 5-round count for this and a 5-round count for that, this is where we build those systems. First thing we're going to do is we're going to do 20 dry fires, and then we're going to get this target out, and we're going to work on 10 shots, 5 rounds apiece in this. And then we're going to do the next thing. And then we're just gradually building our whole program together. And then we can take this target when we're done, take a picture of it, talk about it a little bit, see where you could have got better and what could have been worse, and then always go for improvement. All right. Number 7, I think, is very important because this is one of the things I've talked about this multiple times. Range time should be challenging. And number 7 problem we see most of the time is students forget to challenge themselves. Any drill we do at the range should have some ability to be challenging. And if it's simple and easy and you pass it every time, get rid of that drill because that's not doing anything for you. When you miss, I've told you this, when you miss, you learn. When you learn, you're trying to build, right? If you put the weapon out in front of you, it's like going to the range, not putting up a target. How can you identify what you're doing wrong if you can't identify it? So we have to have a target up there. But if we're going to put a target up there, do we want to make it the size of a trash can lid? That wouldn't be very difficult for anybody, right? The novice shooter to the most expert shooter. But should we take it down to maybe a golf ball or maybe a ping pong ball? Or are you not that confident yet? We got to go softball and maybe basketball. So it all depends on you. If a basketball-sized target is challenging for you, then shoot it. But if you put it at 3 yards and can conquer it, don't shoot it. Don't waste the ammo on that because you know you can do it. Go ahead and make it more challenging for you. It's okay. You can miss. I miss. I miss all the time. I'm not an expert marksman, but when I'm aiming my weapon at a target, I'm damn close to it. And that's the key thing we want to follow through on this thing. It's not about stacking the rounds on top of the postage stamp. It's if the postage stamp is on the paper plate out there or wherever it is, can I shoot my weapon and clip the stamp or be close to the stamp? Because in the real world term, bad guys don't walk around with buttons on their chest that we can aim at. It's going to be one solid color. It may be plaid, it may be a t-shirt, it may be who knows what it is. But we have to just get behind the gun and have confidence to know when I put the weapon out in front of me, wherever I'm aiming, the weapon and the bullet are going to impact pretty damn close to where that is. And there is the challenge for most students, because what causes that bullet to manipulate is trigger press, not controlled the weapon properly, not got the gun over your dominant eye, yanking it, doing some stuff. It makes well. Here's what I'll tell you. Gene just said I got fixated on 3 yards. Now I'm focusing on longer distances. When you were ready, Gene, that's the important part. But what I want you to do, you and Lynn, if you go past a certain point and you start challenging yourself, make the targets a little bigger. That'll help. And then before you leave, because you're going to, when you start extending your distance, guys, not just Gene, not just Lynn, the rest of y'all, when you extend your distance, you have to extend your circle or your target base. That's why we give you the 3-5-7 drills, where 7 actually is about a 4-inch circle, where 3 was a 3-inch. I mean, a 5 was a 3-inch circle, and then when you start at 3 yards, that was a 2-inch circle. 2-inch circle is still a big circle, guys. And then what you can do, Gene, if you want to stay at 3, is start taking our targets down even smaller so we can stack rounds. I told you guys many times before, you are the perfect shooter. And what the perfect shooter means, you are 80% combat shooter. We are a defensive shooter, but we offer 20% of the time to try to be the best bullseye shooter we can be. I don't want you to get fixated on being bullseye shooter, because we don't need to be. But if we spend a little bit more time taking our time engaging that trigger, then at the end, you're going to be better off. When you have to shoot a little faster, you're still going to keep the rounds together, because you've learned to keep the rounds together by those shorter distances. Solution: use the last 10 rounds for the test phase. Same drill on the same speed with tighter groups and smaller targets. The smaller the target, the more we have to aim. I don't know if I've ever said to you guys, I know I've said it to Gene and Lynn and all those guys, and I may have said it on the live multiple times, but I'm going to say Daniel Boone, because that's the one I know. It was either Daniel Boone or Davy Crockett, and it's all about how he was able to shoot the turkey. It was in the movie. It was called The Turkey Shoot, and it was how did Daniel Boone shoot the turkey's head off? And back then, the turkey shoot was a live turkey in a box with his head out, and they would get these frontiersmen all come from all over the place, and whoever shot the turkey head off won the bird, basically. And they asked Daniel Boone how he did it, and he talked about aiming smaller, and that was the deal. Aim small, miss small. Aim small, miss small. And that is something that we continuously have to think about. That's what happens when you're at the range and you are focusing on the silhouette of the bad guy, and you got that big red X in the center, and you're doing pretty well with that red X, and then you go to the head and you're aiming at a smaller circle in the head, and all of a sudden you impact the head pretty well because you now are focusing on a smaller sphere, which in turn helps your body visually see the smaller target. A small target is going to make you aim small to miss small. All right, guys, I get someone at the door. I'm going to be right back. Right back. Go back and do it. All right. Yeah. So that's that there. Uh, number 8 problem is no dry firing before or after. This is one of those things that people have to get their head around due to the fact that we know by if any realm of peace that dry firing is going to help us tremendously at the range. And we started the master class in February, and I had not done a ton of dry firing in the past. Now I hate to say that, but it was just not something I did. And then when I started putting students through the master class and started working with the students locally here at different stages of shooters, I could see the true advances that it gave each individual student. In dry firing, there's so many different ways you can do it, and we put them through the master class in multiple different ways. But this is like anything else. If you can practice before you go out, you're going to shoot a lot better. We always talk about the golf game, right? If we're able to shoot a bucket of balls and maybe chip a little bit on the chip, maybe putt a couple, we're gonna golf a lot better than jumping in the cart from the car and going into the first hole and then expecting us to shoot 70s. It's not going to happen unless you're talking about weather. Because I shoot in the 70s. Any hotter, any colder, I don't golf. All right, so if you add 20 dry fires at home, that's a good thing. But if you do 20 dry fires at the range before you shoot the first 5 rounds out of that gun, if the drill counts for 10 rounds, I want 10 dry fires. And you'll be surprised how well that helps you. So it helps you with building what? It helps you with building muscle memory. It helps you with sight alignment, sight picture, trigger control, all the things you need to do without even firing a single round. Think about that. You're doing it without even firing a single round. But the cool thing is when you're able to do 5 live and 5 dead, 5 live fires and 5 dead fires, those are going to give you the full effect of recoil management. Because that's the real challenge for most students. It has nothing to do with a lot of stuff. It has to do with keeping that weapon as level as possible and not fighting the recoil management. And that's the one thing that people don't do enough of is dry firing. Get anything out of tonight's live, enter a dry fire procedure into your range time, and you will see improvement at the range. Number 9, I think, is one of those deals that people get done. They grab the broom, they sweep up their brass, they leave their target behind, and they give no post-range reflection. You know, we are always trying to identify what's good, what's bad, and what we need to focus on for the next time we're here. And I think if we take a little bit of pictures, Johnny, my son, got me into this. We called it the shot doctor. It was one of our things we did on our YouTube channel. Johnny put me on my head on a doctor's body and gave me a white coat and a stethoscope. And we called it the shot doctor because I could take a target and I would identify on the target what I think the student was doing and what he was causing. And that was kind of the fun thing. Once you start kind of figuring out what you're doing wrong, it helps out tremendously. In the masterclass, we laid out quadrants on a 6-inch paper plate or a 6-inch circle, which you're going to see here in a few minutes. And those quadrants help us identify what we're doing wrong with the trigger. And it shows the low and left, or the high and right, or the high and left. And there's a lot of different stuff that you could be doing manipulation wise on the pistol that causes some of these problems. All right. And number 10 is no long-term improvement system. The solution is joining a program like the Handgun training system, whether we give you a weekly drill, we give you live coaching, we give you accountability. And once a month, we have these things. They're easy to get into. And you're going to get a solid factor ability to understand what you're getting. Now, we are working on a solution to get people into this. I think it's going to help out tremendously. And we are going to start doing a Saturday morning live and introduce a drill each week for students, sort of for range time and stuff like that. All we're trying to do here with the business is to give as much as we can to you guys. And in turn, when you like something we're giving you, you're going to want it. And then we want to offer it to you. And we're not trying to get rich. We're not trying to get anything, but it is a passion of mine. I know I say it all the time, but we started this channel to motivate, educate, entertain, and I believe we do pretty well at it. I never thought in years and years I'd be an author, but I was able to write those 6 books. I mean, they're not masterpieces, but I'm pretty proud of them. I mean, people love them. They buy them. They share them. And then we thought, how can I touch any other people? And it's just coursework. And with YouTube now being worldwide, I mean, I had a guy from Africa yesterday send me something he's taken one of our training systems that he has to have it translated into his language. And he's starting the system over there. So I think that's kind of cool. That's one of the neat things. So let me kind of show you the drill this week to kind of give you an idea. And you could focus this. Now, some of you that have actually been in to, some of you that are in the masterclass have seen this drill before, but we've modified it a little bit. So let me show you this picture real quick. All right, so this is the modified bass drill with A, B, C, D quadrants. Now, in the masterclass, we use that box that's in the center of the circle as our aiming point. And this is what's called 6 o'clock hold. And with 6 o'clock hold, it helps us tremendously get a consistent point of aim. And then once we've got the consistent point of aim, we're going to work on the quadrants as well as the box itself. Now, I gave this target multiple times to students. What tends to happen when you give this circle to somebody with just the base drill is what it was called, a lot of the students shot a little high on this because they're aiming in the center of the circle. Well, when I talked to the students the second week and I said, oh, by the way, we want to aim in the box, because what ends up happening is your sights would be in the center of the target, not the barrel of the gun. The barrel of the gun would be a little lower than the sight picture. Because if you think that bullet doesn't fly in a straight line, it actually flies in an arc because of the way the barrel is below the sights and not above the sights. So it's kind of a technique here. So let me get this off here. Now, if you want to copy this drill, it's available. It'll be available in the descriptions down below. But let me remove this real quick and get back to being. So the modified base drill is pretty simple. There's a 50 plan here, 50 round plan. Uh, the goal of this is to reinforce your sight alignment, your hold technique, your quadrants focus, and your follow through. What gear are you going to need? You're going to need a handgun. You need 50 rounds. You can get 2 magazines and do a mag change once in a while. There's nothing that's going to hurt you with mag changes. You need to print this target. You're probably going to need, if you're an effective shooter, you probably need 3 of these. If you are first time shooter, you may want to print 4 or 5 of them. You're still going to only use 50 rounds in them. But once they start missing and they start moving, you're better off just putting up a new target for it. So the training objective this week is to improve consistency with a 6 o'clock hold versus a center hold. Most students come here and they aim the weapon in the center of the target. And we're trying to stop or see the difference in the two. And I'm going to prove the difference in the two with these drills. You're going to build quadrant specifications for accuracy. You're going to sharpen your focus on command drills. You're going to identify your weak and strong side accuracy for movement. All right. So drill number 1, we're going to phase on the box calibration. We're going to aim 2 magazines, 10 rounds apiece. You can load 1 mag with 5, the next round with 5. It's going to give you 10 rounds. And the very first phase we're going to do is I want you to aim dead center of the target. I don't want you to put your sights in this. I want you to put the barrel in the center of the target. And I want you to engage your first 5, then your second 5. And then the next thing we're going to do that same thing again, but this time we're going to aim in the box itself. We're going to put our sights in that box. And this is going to give us that 6 o'clock hold. And we're going to run 2 mags, 5 rounds apiece. You will see immediately that you're more consistent when you aim at a 6 o'clock hold than you do when you aim center of the circle, because center of the circle does not give us a consistent point of aim, where 6 o'clock hold would give us a consistent point of aim. The purpose here is to establish the sight picture and get comfortable with trigger prep and follow through. Get out your markers, because I need you to mark your hits each time. You guys that are on the masterclass, have been through the masterclass, know you should have a couple tactical markers that are in your range bag. Red, blue, green, purple, doesn't really matter. Just something you can tell a difference, because when you shoot the first 5, you want it one color and the second 5 another color. And then take your pictures, take your developments, and see exactly how you did. And this will definitely help you hit your marks a lot better. And note your grip, note everything about it if you can. Just suck it all up, get it all in your head, and then start feeling it. And that's going to help. Now, phase 2 of this drill is 16 rounds total. And you're going to fire 4 rounds into each A, B, C, and D quadrant with a center hold. To to kind of give you that. This is going to give you more of an idea of what you think you should be doing. And then the second time we do it, we're going to do it with a 6 o'clock hole. And that's going to be 10 rounds doing the same quadrant thing and working at 6 o'clock hole and see how you do. That's going to help you tremendously. Now and you get the video downloaded, this whole package I'm giving you is on there as well. Now, phase 4, you can change this total drill into a command drill, and this is going to be 10 rounds as well. You can have a partner, coach, yell out a letter in random, and you put 1 round per command. If you're solo, you can use a deck of cards or an app to give you a randomized letter. Don't forget to mark your targets and get your ability to write down all the stuff. All right, and then phase 5, this is going to get you down to almost 50 rounds now. This is your confidence builder. You're going to put 4 rounds, fire 1 round into each quadrant in your order of choice, but all the rounds must be inside of your quadrant. I would focus on the letters and make sure your bullet is impacting those letters. This purpose of this drill is to help you under control and expectations and closed for purpose. How many targets should you print? I would recommend printing 3 targets, and I want you to get somewhere between 15 and 20 rounds on a target. You stop where you can, or if you are missing and not doing really well, go ahead and print a few more. It's only paper, guys, so it's not going to cause you too much problem. Here are the key teaching points. You're going to realize that 6 o'clock hold is a better hold for you for shooting anything, because why? It gives you consistency looking through the weapon, and you're getting consistent point of aim. Compared to center hold, where you directly point in the impact, it becomes a little more challenging for you. Compare them. Some shooters group tighter with one or the other. I don't care how you do it. I try to teach you the best way I know to make a student more consistent by doing it since 2013. This is the way I've been doing it. And I can tell you the 6 o'clock hold is an easier learning curve than anything else. But you do you, boo. That's what I always say. I cannot tell you, sit here and go, this is the only way. Because it's not the only way. My daddy told me years ago, there's many ways to skin a cat, son. So you got to think that yourself. When they meant that, they meant fish. They didn't mean real cats. All right. Wrap up the instructions themselves. You need to mark your scores, 1 point per hit, circle, and note your quadrants was the most or least accurate. That's going to help you tremendously. Take photos of your target for review. Do 20 dry fires at home before your next range session. And when you get here, make sure you do dry firing first. All right, guys, that's how you take 50 rounds and turn them into a real. You good?
Yeah, I'll call you later.
Call me, yeah. Real progress at the range. It's not about how much you shoot, man. It's about how much you train. Focusing reps, real drills, and honest tracking. If you follow this format, you're going to see tighter groups, your confidence rise, and ammo stretching further than it ever has before. If you want this target, it's going to be in the description down below. Once this is up and live, they have a description for every, and we'll put that there. If you want a copy of it, and it's after, you got a few people here are live tonight, but after the live, you will not be able to comment on it, but it still will be in the descriptions down below. If you want weekly drills like this and breakdown, now obviously in the handgun training system, guys, just like the master class, we are doing PowerPoints on these. So when you get the PowerPoint, it gives you that same exact thing, but prettier. I don't know, I'm pretty, but it gives you a prettier effect. It gives you the drills, it gives you the techniques and everything else like that. The system is set up for you to succeed if you just follow and control. We set this program up because we wanted people just like you guys to be able to identify what you're doing and focus on becoming the best shooter you can be. We had that thing in Colorado a couple days ago with a guy who threw a Molotov cocktail into a group of people. Imagine if someone would have been there with a concealed carry. They always seem to do this stuff in places where it's gun free. And this guy was going to do it no matter what happened. But obviously, we need to start thinking about our security and safety more and more as Ace is out chasing people. Those people came to America, which I don't blame them. Be honest with you, they live in squattle, and the United States says, "Hey, come to the border, we'll let you in." But at the end, they really have affected a lot of stuff in our life, and we need to make sure that we are protected. That's why you guys come to the range. That's why you shoot on a regular basis. That's why you have to be confident. Why I carry a pistol is because a cop's too heavy to carry. Why I carry a pistol is for my protection. That firearm is the jumper cables, is the first aid kit, is the flashlight. Those are better to have and not need than need and not have. You can't wish you had something in a situation. You got to have it. You live, well, Florida is very open to that, but if you live in a state that causes a little bit more problems for you to get stuff, I feel sorry for you. Come to the gunshine state where we are. I saw today that Florida took over from Texas. We had the largest population of new people moving to Florida. Large percentage. And Florida doesn't have state tax. The reason why we don't have state tax is because of all these people that move in here. And Florida has a zero balance each year. So they cannot have excess money being spent and taking it from the people because there is no state tax. There's just the regular tax we have here. So that is our drill for tonight. That is something I would recommend that you watch. If you're looking to sign up to one of the master classes or one of the handgun training classes, you can always check those out in our YouTube channel. Find out the next one that's coming up, and we can get you signed up for it. The next one, we just started our newest one, which is at week 1 last night, and then we have room for that one, but you'd have to catch up if you want to get into it. $99, 5 weeks, working with me to become a better shooter. It may be worth it for you. If you want to find out more about that, there'll be a link down below to talk to you about that. So let's go up, look at the comments, make sure we got everybody. JPPHP said, "Hey, John, what distance?" I would start at the distance you could conquer. So I would tell you 3 yards. unless you think 3 yards is super simple for you. Super, super simple. But I would always start at 3 yards. 3 yards. I be honest with you guys. If you told me, hey John, I want you to tell me what distance I need to focus on and I need to be proficient with 3, 5, 7. 3 yards, 5 yards, 7 yards. And those are the distances that if we had to get in a fight, we had to get in a gunfight, those are the distances we need to conquer. If that makes sense. That's fine. That's good. Whatever distance you like, man. I'm not telling you what's, but when you really think about a situation that's going to, FBI says 3 yards. There is where most stuff happens. 3 yards and in is when a gunfight is happening. Large percentage of the time, it's short distances where sights are out the window, where shooting the gun two-handed is out the window, where you may only get one hand on the pistol, and we need to focus on a lot of different stuff, be honest with you. So whichever distance you think you need to work on, I tell every student though, find your challenge distance, which means what? Fail. Where do you fail at? If you fail at 3, if you fail at 5, if you fail at 7 or 10, those are the distances we need to work on. Jean said a little bit ago she's been fixated on 3. They're new to shooting, you understand? They're just getting into the thing. But she's even getting boring now. It's getting easier for them. That's why they want to extend their distance. When you start extending your distances, there's a lot more effects that happen to the student that they don't know of. Like a small amount of minute movement in the front side is going to cause the back side to cause problems as well. So, again, whatever distance you can conquer, that's all I'm going to say to students because some people are excellent shooters and they can go all the way out to the back wall and stack them phenomenal. But you're not in high stress at that point in time. When you get to high stress, all I want you to do is build enough muscle memory. When it comes time, it's going to be a natural fling for you. You're not going to have to think about it. You're not going to say, now, what did John say? So, he's asking about 9mm 22. I always recommend train with what you're going to carry. I'm not going to say a 22 wouldn't do what you needed to do, but I will tell you if I shoot a milk jug full of water with a 22, I just poked a hole in it. If I shoot a 9mm at a milk jug full of water, there is no milk jug left. So, and I know from my own personal experience that I do not shoot a 22 like I shoot my 9mm. If you'll promise me you will drive the 22 like you drive the 9mm, then you could shoot both. But you physically won't because you psychologically know you don't have to hold that pistol very well. So if you're asking me which one, I'm going to say 9mm. If you don't own a 9mm, use the pistol you got, bud. But I can tell you, you're going to be a lot more accurate with a 9mm than you are 22. And it seems like that'd be bullshit, but in real life form, because you don't control it, is why you're impacting high, impacting low, impacting right, impacting left. We need to drive that 22 like we drive a 9mm. And the more we start doing that, the easier it becomes. Good question. Good question. Okay, so here's Rob talking about he needs to practice one-handed stuff. We did a full course on that. I've done multiple videos on one-handed. As far as coming out of the holster with it one-handed, there's a lot of places you won't be able to come out of a holster with. Your garage is probably the best. Go ahead and get you some kind of laser program that you can see it click off and work out of that. I can tell you the draw cycle is a cycle of elbow back, clear the holster, and turn the weapon. Once you've turned the weapon to get the weapon straight forward to you, that weapon can be fired at that time. So when you're doing close quarter combat stuff, when you're shooting one-handed, you're canting the weapon just enough to keep some of that muzzle flip from happening. And then once you get it out in front of your body, you can get two hands on it, which still is not your eye line yet, and cut that shot. And then when you're full extended, then that's your most accurate shot. I would recommend you watch a couple of videos on our YouTube channel. I have a full video of a 78-year-old man who cross-drawed at our range, and we did a full uh, video running him doing all the stuff. We worked on he was cross-drawing. He's right-handed, so he's pulling it out of his waist, bringing it up to get the first shot, and then he full extended for the second two. And that's kind of what we need to do. As far as mags in, mags out, when you're dry firing, you need to be in a room where there's no magazines, then no ammo. And we need to double check, triple check, quadruple check the weapon is empty. Check that video out, Rob, on our channel. It is about 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, and it shows. I think I called it a tactical. I think I called it draw from the holster or something. I don't remember exactly what I called it, but it's on the YouTube channel, and that was a good one to go. And there are a year and a half ago, there's a couple on there for cycles. I did a draw cycle for people to kind of give them an idea. Let me see if I can find the name of that video real quick for you. That way you don't get it. You could just go to my YouTube channel and search it, and it would show it up pretty good. Yeah, let's go real quick here. Instructions. That's the problem with doing so many damn videos. You get to a point where you kind of forget what the hell, which one you did and which one you didn't do. Yeah, it was called. It's called Holster Draw Basics. Holster Draw Basics. It's a nice little. It's about 45 minutes long, but it walks through the whole system with a student, so you'll be able to see it. It was 3 months ago. Holster Draw Basics and Explained is what it's called. White. It's a white thumbnail with my face on it. If you can't find it for some reason, I can't really send it through the Kajabi here, but definitely it's available for you. You just go up into YouTube and search holster in my channel. It'll probably flip up there for you. That's That's another. No, I'm. Go ahead and keep going here, answering questions. Uh, I'll look into that, Rob. See what's there. The cross draw is kind of interesting. He's doing another class. Listen, he's now going to appendix carry after cross drawing. I think he runs into problems in the vehicles. What the issue is? It says, John, have you ever tried the blind swordsman drill? Nope, never heard of it. Don't know what it is. I'll look it up though and see it. Thank you. Yeah, that's kind of one of those deals. Drawing from the holster is one of those you just got to work out a little bit to get comfortable. All right, Big John, thanks for doing this live consistently. Very informative, very helpful. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Stop sucking up, man. He's one of our guys that comes every week. He's in the he shoots. So we appreciate you, John. Thank you, buddy. All right. So we had a great night tonight. We got a lot of people staying on. That was awesome. Robert Owens, Gene Morrison. Thank you, Gene. Appreciate you, Chris. Kurt. As always, you guys are naturals for me. JPPHD. I don't recognize that name, but he is been here. We appreciate you being here, buddy. He says meters, so I don't know exactly. Can you, JPPHD, can you tell me where you're from? That would help me out tremendously. JPPHD. Yeah. Yeah. And Johnny shot a 297 in the league the other night. But he keeps forgetting that I helped him set his red dot in. So, so that's kind of what the deal is. So. Now it was good. Him and Tasha both shot over 300. We had a low round count of people showing up. We had people sick, so Chris wasn't there, and a couple others. So we only had like 4 people do the league. So we're doing a league on 9mm, and some of the students didn't show up. So instead of just giving out cash that week, we let them shoot for free, but they got their points for it, which is kind of what we wanted to do because we're doing the end of the year, end of the summer bash. I think we're going to do hot dogs and hamburgers and pick the winner on that. So it's going to be kind of a fun deal. I'm trying to build that league up as much as I can. So that's kind of. Yeah, Tasha is a ringer. Yeah, she is. You are welcome. I live in the Caribbean island of One. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome, man. Thank you very much. And how did you hear about the channel? Have you been watching us for a while? Because the neat thing, I don't know if I've told you guys this, but we kind of get this whole thing where people come and shoot with us. Some of the people who've been our YouTube channel. And I've had multiple guys from different places throughout the United States. One of the first ones was Jim. Jim and his wife were going to be coming to Florida, he said, and I'd love to come see the facility. And I said to Jim, I said, well, that'd be great. We're in the Southwest, blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, we're going to Disney World. And I said, Jim, buddy, Disney from here is about 3 hours, man. I mean, to be honest with you, close to 3.5. And he goes, oh, I get it. I understand. And I was like, hey, you don't want to come? I would love to have you. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to. So this guy and his wife take a day off from Disney, right? I mean, they paid good money to go to Disney. And they drove over here. So I did an impromptu training class with them. I took them in the back. We had heard she'd never shot a pistol before. We had her running pistols. I had him shoot pistols, and at the end of it, they left. They left and drove back. They drove 3.5 hours. They spent an hour with us, and then they drove 3.5 hours back just to come see me. You're talking about a humble experience, right? That's pretty humble. So I always mark Jim because he's a pretty awesome dude. He's not on tonight, but he listens a lot. And the another thing is I had a customer that came from the East Coast, and I was having a conversation. I did a YouTube channel. I did a YouTube video with him because I started. I always talk to students saying, "Hey, where you from? How'd you hear about us? What's the deal?" He goes, "I heard about you from your YouTube channel." I go, "Really? Where are you from?" He says, "The Antarctic." I said, "What?" He said, "The Antarctic." I said, "The Antarctic?" He goes, "Yeah, yeah. I drive icebreakers." I said, "You talking about the polar bears and the penguins, right?" He goes, "Yeah." And I said, "You came all this way to do a class with me?" Now he was doing extended education on his captain's license over on the East Coast, but he never told me he was coming. He just showed up, and that was a kind of a humbling thing. And I thought, oh my God! And now I got this guy from Caribbean. That's awesome. I appreciate you very much. That's very, very good. He just said you'll see me in August. I made a reservation for a session. Very cool, man. I love that. That's awesome. Well, guys, thank you very much for this evening. You mean an awful lot to me. I did this channel many years ago to educate, motivate, entertain. And if I do and I give you any kind of bonuses, please, please, please don't forget to like, share, and maybe subscribe if you want to. What I'd ask you to do before we get off this call, I want to make sure you look down on your YouTube channel and make sure you're still subscribed. I don't know what happens, but I hear a lot of students tell me that they get unsubscribed for some reason. So before you get off this evening, please make sure you are subscribed because when you are subscribed, like and hit that bell icon every time we upload a new video or any kind of thing like these lives we're doing, you will be on the list to let you know that it's coming up. And without you guys, why would I be doing this? So that's awesome. Uh, thank you. Oh, by the way, you guys don't know it, but Miss Johnson is always in the background, always in the background watching what I'm doing. Make sure I don't miss any questions or anything else like that. Let me see what I come across here. Uh, okay. Gene, definitely, if you wanted to join on the, you and Lynn could do the live. I mean, could do the with league. I mean, the way you're shooting, you guys are not too far off from it, anyways. So that there's no issue. There's plenty of room. Want to come Thursday night? Just come on down, and we'll walk you through it. It's pretty simple and easy. I have not drawn the raffle yet. I want Jacob to be here when I do it, Johnny. So we'll let you know when that happens. Okay. Red dot drawing. Who said the red dot drawing? Did I miss something? I may have missed the red dot drawing one, so I don't see it. I may be looking past it each time. But if you want to ask that question one more time, guys, I apologize for not seeing it. Do you know who asked the question? Red dots and drawing, Heidi? Oh, if you're sighting in a red dot, I didn't see it, so I don't know exactly what it is. But I would recommend anytime you're sighting a red dot in, you want to do the furthest distance you can. We sight all of our red dots in at the 15 at our furthest distance back. We focus on a couple things, and I'm probably going to do a red dot sighting in course to kind of give you guys to understand it, because too many people think the red dot is being the aiming device versus it's there for acquisition. Your two eyes are physically your aiming device with a red dot. We want to make sure that when we're using our red dot that you keep both eyes open and that you put it out at a distance that, like, we do 35 feet basically, or 33 feet because we're 3 yards in, so we're about 33 feet, which is about 10 and 11 yards or something like that. In the 11 yards itself, we focus with impact on the target. So when it's sighted out at that distance, anything from that distance in, that dot's going to be pretty damn close to center each time. If I sight my red dot in at 3 yards or 5 yards or 7 yards, then I'm going to have a challenge of it being all over the place or higher when we get it out at further distances. So you want to shoot it at your maximum distance that you have at your range that will allow the red dot, and then bring it in to verify where it's going to be, at 5 yards, at 7 yards, at 10 yards. And then you have a concept with it, because realistically, if we're using a red dot, we're not working on a bullseye effect. We're working on acquisition effect. Can I put the gun out? Can I engage the trigger? Can I keep the gun steady enough to stack the rounds on top of it? And the more you shoot that pistol in a two-eye open speed that allows you to keep the weapon level, the easier it's going to be. That's good to hear, Rob, because with two eyes open, you're going to have a lot better accuracy effect than somebody who is shooting with one eye closed. Because one eye closed causes us a lot of depth perfect depth perception and field of view perception. We're not going to get a whole field of view if we close an eye. We're not at 2 o'clock in the morning when the bad guy banging on your front door. You are not going to be closing an eye, pop-eyeing at the bad guy. You're going to have both eyes wide open to begin with. That's why when we do most of our, what we consider our enhanced classes, when we draw the holster, we're shooting around cover, or we're doing mag changes or anything, we are actually using more of the back of the firearm than we are using the red dot. And when we have the back of the firearm in a level position, the weapon is always going to shoot pretty level. I told students all the time, the sights on a firearm are a convenience. They are not a necessity. And if you can get yourself to understand the difference between the two, I highly recommend if you're going to have a red dot gun and you're going to shoot a red dot, you need to have the same pistol without a red dot. I know that's two pistols the same. What's that? Doesn't make sense. Yeah, it does. Because you need to understand how to use iron sights and how to use the red dot. Now, there are co-witnessing that can happen, and certain dots are smaller and certain dots are bigger. And yeah, yeah. I told you, Rob, my wife's from a little town called Montpelier. Yeah, he's from Toledo, Ohio, Heidi. Yeah, so the idea of that is important for you to get the whole concept of that, because too many people are buying these guns nowadays that have never shot a. Now they just did a big statistics talking about years ago they wouldn't let a cop carry a dot on anything. They just thought it was a bad image and everything else. But qualifications are going up. That's why they went back to the 9mm, because they're a lighter recoil weapon. But they're now issuing red dots for these deputies in certain areas. I don't know about Lee County yet. I don't know if they're allowing it or not. I don't think they are, but it could be something that's coming in the future, because those dots do make you more accurate. The most important thing we need to get to in a high stress situation, how accurate, how accurate you think you're going to be. And that's kind of puts you in a position there. So, anything else, guys? I appreciate all the questions. It means an awful lot to me always. And until next time, God bless, be safe, and remember, you are your first line of defense. God bless, guys. Good night.